Hey, welcome back to another episode of God Concept Podcast. How's everybody doing out there, man? First of all, I like to say, you know, I'm appreciative for even being here, for being able to, continuing to create, my podcast, come up with different book ideas and song ideas and things like that. I'm just appreciative for my family, for my children, the family that I have left. I'm appreciative for that. So, you know what I mean? And on to the concept of this episode of God Concept. The UFO thing. You know what I mean? They're hovering over Jersey and a lot of major cities. You know what I mean? Is it the government that's doing it? Is it actual UFO spacecraft aliens doing this? Is it something else? We all don't know. We all up in the air. We all don't know what it is. I mean, we all have our theories about what it could be. You know what I mean? And don't mind me looking over my shoulder because I'm in a public space. Whenever you record in a public space, you kind of, got to look around and things like that. But these UFO sightings is getting ridiculous. I mean, they think they're drones and things like that. And I think they're drones too. I think pretty much I think it's all a distraction. You know what I mean? Do I believe in the UFO thing? Yes. I mean, a lot of you do believe in the UFO thing too. A lot of you are on the fence whether there's life on other planets and things like that. Truth be told, there's life here that we still don't know about. There's life here that we still haven't discovered yet. That you know what I mean? There's depths of the sea that we didn't even, explore. There's spots in the Grand Canyon that they so-called say that they never explored or even, looked into yet for whatever reason. I don't know. But they know what's going on behind all of this stuff. It's a mystery drone. It's a mystery UFO. No, it's not a mystery. It's just them, playing puppeteer is what they do. You know what I mean? It's whether it's a natural thing and it's from somewhere here that we don't know about, that we never explored, then that's one thing. If it's from another place, then that's another thing. Now, a lot of people saying that this other countries, doing spy work because they're saying that we've had um Al Qaeda, terrorist agent cells within America, about over 1,000 of them. You know what I mean? And I've been saying this for a while that I've seen reports in the past over 5 years ago that we had Russian troops training in America for a long time. And I'm pretty sure we got, some Chinese troops and all these different people. Because this is what we do. Because best believe we got something going on in their country to see exactly what they're doing in their neck of the woods. You know what I mean? So it's like we got people over there, they got people over here. But the biggest influence over here is over here. You know what I mean? They know exactly what the drones are, or whether it's UFO or drone, whatever it is. It's all smoke and mirrors to me. And it's all something to have in the news about this, about that. You know, it's something to talk about, you know. Maybe it's there to put a guise over the real UFOs that's out there. Maybe there's real UFOs out there, and the drones are there to kind of stop you from looking in their direction because the drones are more flashy. They got the lights flashing and all that stuff. Maybe the UFO is just one solid, consistent light that you could see at all times, and it just moves positions. Where this drone is going to draw your attention because it's more flashy. You know what I mean? That's just my idea. That's just my, you know what I mean? The whole concept of this episode is whether these drones are real or not, whether these are drones or whether they're actual, you know, um, UAPs, unidentified flying objects, or whatever they call them now. But yeah, it's a lot going on, man. It's a lot going on, man. And it seems that whatever's going on in the world teeter totters based upon which presidential candidate is in office. You know what I mean? It kind of teeter totters. You know what I mean? Some things is always going to remain the same. You're going to have them talk about the same basic points. You know what I mean? The things that they got to do to improve our country, to make our economy better, to improve on homelessness and to make taxes better and to increase wages and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's all the same. You know what I mean? It's always one party fighting for this, one party fighting for this. And then when something changes in society, the viewpoint changes in society, that's when something else will, a different problem will be introduced to a certain party to fix or whatever. You know, drone thing is just a bunch of smoke and mirrors. Yeah, there's aliens here, and I believe in extraterrestrials or a higher intelligence. I'll say that, a higher level of intelligence, because we're extensions of them. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're extensions of the creator, but how do we know that higher intelligence isn't the creator? How do we know that that higher intelligence isn't, monitoring us and not telling us about itself because we can't handle, or it believes that we can't handle, or it believes that we shouldn't be previewed to that information? I'm a firm believer in, I have my own theocracy. First of all, my theocracy is this, that we're in a world that's basically you know, um, under demonic dominion, right? We're in a world that's basically under demonic dominion. But the creator still has the ultimate say so in what goes on here. Yeah, he allowed you to go through this maze, through this test that, whatever evils is here can put you through, so you could build up lessons to so you could learn, so you could grow, as a person. But at the same time, the creator has the power to say, okay, that's enough, and usher you into a better life, to usher you into, what I mean, who you were supposed to be or who you were meant to be, if nobody tries to, hinder that for you. And even if they do hinder that for you or try to intervene in your blessings being, what I mean, bestowed upon you, the creator could block their, block their, their hatred, their, you know what I mean, their jealousy, towards whatever it is that you have coming. You know what I mean? A lot of people do this. A lot of evilness is here because it's allowed to be here. You know what I mean? And we are susceptible to it. There's no man, nor woman, nor child that's not susceptible to the evils that's here. You know what I mean? It's why even if you don't pray 7 times a day like most Muslims do, even if you don't go to church on Sundays or pray on Saturday, like, you know what I mean, like the Jehovah's Witness or whomever, you know, all of us has a piece of God in us. All of us has that creator in us. So we don't really have to go to a place and worship. You know what I mean? As long as we're worshiping in our temple. This is our temple. Our body is our temple. Our vessel is our temple. You know what I mean? A lot of people will have you believe otherwise. This way you're pouring outwardly. You're always pouring outwardly. You know what I mean? It's all about the exchange of energy. You know what I mean? Energy can become tangible through dollars and cents, through time and energy, through, you know what I mean? So, you gotta, me personally, I'm not saying that you got to, but me personally, I'm trying to stay more in control of my energy. You know what I mean? Even the way they try to, I'm talking about UFOs now, I'm on this. That's just me. But anyway, even they try to control your emotions and shit. When somebody try to control your emotions to get you to act out of character or anything, that's controlling your energy because your emotions are your energy. If you act outside of your character because somebody's pushing you or nudging you to do so, that's you not exercising mental fortitude. That's you not, you know, being one with yourself, being in control of yourself. You know what I mean? You got to understand who you are at all times. Because somebody could say something, somebody could say you're stupid, somebody could say you're crazy, somebody could call you out of your name for any reason. Is that a reason for you to lose your temper, or lose your mind, or lose control of your emotions? No, unless what they're saying about you is true, and if that truth hurts, that's the only way I can see somebody flipping out. You know what I mean? About somebody calling you out your name, or this or that, or just having a negative thought about you, because that's a lot of times what happens. You know what I mean? There are a lot of people that spread negative shit about you and all that, and then you get in your emotions. Oh, I can't let them talk about me. Like, I can't do. It's like, yo, if it's not true, or even if it is true, and they fucked you over somehow, it's like, damn, it is what it is. It reflects more negatively on somebody that's doing wrong to a person. You know what I mean? If you're a victim, that don't mean that you wrong for being a victim. The person's wrong for victimizing. The victim is never wrong, but the victim is often shunned, laughed at, mocked, and ridiculed. That's what we see all over social media. So the victim of any type of persecution or conspiracy or whatever it is that's going on never comes forward, because they're scared of being mocked, ridiculed, and you know what I mean? Things like that, leaving themselves susceptible for false persecution. Because if you're a victim and they setting you up to make you look like something and you're not that, then that's false persecution. If you never take the steps or attempts to show that you're something other than somebody's trying to portray you as, then that's, you know, self-persecution, or, a setup, designed persecution, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, man, this UFO thing is crazy. Back to that. I've been looking at it for a while. I've been looking at it on my phone. They think it's other countries doing spy work in the United States. They say that these things was flying over top. They said that these things was flying over top a nuclear base over in New Jersey, right? And they got some type of anti-drone system over there, right? Where they got drones to basically take down drones that people is flying over restricted areas. And they said even their anti-drone devices that they had, their anti-drone drones couldn't take down the drones that was flying over top of these nuclear facilities in Jersey and in other places all over the United States. So, with that being said, these things they're different. They're more advanced than the capabilities that we have right now to combat them. If we can't take them down from hovering over top of a nuclear base in New Jersey or in any other, city or state in the United States, then that means that they're more advanced. Where they coming from? Is somebody trying to prove that they can one up us with our own technology? And that's a lot of a lot of problems that we have in this country is because we allow people to come here, right? We got a lot of ties with other countries, and we allow these other countries to come here. And when they come here, they're able to see what we have and develop technology right up under our noses that we don't even know about, by ordering different parts and this and that, and doing their own little basement setup where they could come up and develop different technology and actually deploy it in our own backyard because they're in our fucking backyard. So it's like, how can you combat against an enemy that you're allowing to lay in the same house as you? The enemy's within your own house, building drones and shit, coming up with more advanced technologies than you have, and you're allowing this to happen. This is, they don't want it to happen. Us as citizens, we're the one whistleblowing everything, but they're allowing this to happen because when those drones are captured, and they're going to be captured, they're going to reverse engineer whatever type of technology, the technology that they have that we can't combat, and use that. That's what's going to happen. So congratulations to whoever made these fucking drones that the government can't stop from hovering over nuclear bases, because more than likely you're going to be a fucking millionaire, 100 millionaire, because the government is going to try to buy that technology from you. If it's not already, if the government doesn't already own it, I'm gonna say that. If the government doesn't already own that technology and just putting a veil over the fact that they're really putting out this technology and testing it out and everything, then somebody's going to become 100 millionaire because they're coming out with technology that our anti-drone technology can't even combat right now. And there's no fucking way that this city don't know about that. That New Jersey don't know about who's building these fucking drones and where they coming from. They got to go up. They got to come down. And I actually seen one of them got shot down. One of them was like hovering around this other like constant light, and you seen the drone with the flickering light, and it was hovering around this other whatever the fuck it was in the air, and the drone actually got shot down. You seen the drone spiraling down to the ground. So now, from me just saying that, I'm gonna go in a different direction because this is God concept, right? We got to look at the concept from all different point of views. Because if the drones were surveilling something, and that something actually made that drone go down, right? That means these drones are on a mission. That means these drones are surveilling something and it doesn't know about. So I'm thinking more than likely, people seen these drones. People seen these drones flying around doing reconnaissance missions in the air to see what's out there, right? This is if the government know about the drones, or if the local governments know about the drones, right? Then what they do is they send the drones on a reconnaissance mission to search for other extraterrestrials. That makes sense. I could get behind something like that, but they can't tell everyday people what's going on because they got to be in the know before you know. It has to be that way. Otherwise, it's all theatrical and it's all designed this way, and they know from the jip because they're the one putting it all together. But if they're not putting it together and they're surveilling something that took one of their drones down, if that's one of their drones, then it's actually because that there's actual UFOs out there. It's something that they're monitoring that's here monitoring us. So that's that. You know what I mean? That's that's just a hypothesis that we can go with. You know what I mean? If we're talking from, I got the Nutellas. And I'm not gonna shut the fuck up because we want to discuss this drone UFO thing right now, man. Just something that was on my mind, just something that was on my mind. Because, you know, it's a lot of spooky shit in this world that we really don't know about. We speculate a lot, but if you're not in the know, you really don't know. Conversations like this, topics like this, helps us farther explore the options. You know what I mean? The possibilities of what's actually out there, what's actually going on. You know what I mean? Sometimes through discussions like this, we actually hit the nail on the head and we don't even realize it. Sometimes we come up with the answer to something, you know what I mean? You feel it once you got it though. If you ever just figured out or put the pieces of a puzzle together, right? If you ever did your investigative work and put any pieces of a puzzle together, you know when you got the answer. You know when you right. You get that gut feeling. You get that damn, I figured it out. Ain't nobody gonna tell you figured it out because either nobody else figured it out or they don't want you to figure it out. But you know when you got it. You just know. You can feel it. It's like a gut feeling when you know when you're right about something. You know what I mean? It's just that thing. When that, you know what I mean? I mean, I got it. I guess I got a little bit of You know what I mean? The fuck Sherlock Holmes in me or whatever. You know what I mean? That's that Mr. Bo. You know what I mean? Mr. Bo. That's what I always call my father's father, Mr. Bo. Because I wasn't raised with him and it was a respect thing. He didn't like the, you know what I mean, granddad thing or whatever. He had his own unique style, whatever, but he was an investigator, a private investigator in the city of Philadelphia and in the United States for a long time back in the day. You know what I mean? He passed away when I was a little boy. You know what I mean? When I was about my son's age. So, but yeah, man, it's a lot going on that we really don't know about. And that's why these discussions is very powerful and very needed. You know what I mean? They're very prevalent in today's society. You know what I mean? They're very relevant. That's the word I'm looking for. They're very relevant in today's society. You know what I mean? Because without discussion, without discourse, what are we doing? You know what I mean? How are we putting anything together? The Tower of Babel was built upon discussions, discussions about religions, about different ethnic backgrounds, religious backgrounds, cultural backgrounds. You know what I mean? Everybody getting together without bias, without any type of, you know what I mean, any bias or discrimination against one another, and just sitting down talking and having discourse, babbling, the Tower of Babel, babbling about what is, you know what I mean? What is and what's not. You know what I mean? What's the truth of all of this? That's why that Tower of Babel was destroyed. Now, if the Tower of Babel was a metaphor, right, and the Tower of Babel was destroyed, it just mean that the people babbling was destroyed. People were separated. That's how you stop the babbling. You separate the people. Shut the fuck up. Separate the people. That's how you stop the babble. That's how you stop people, right? A physical being from realizing that they're more than just a physical being. That's how you stop a physical being from realizing their true potential and power. And right now, them goddamn drones is kicking everybody ass. Everybody talking about them. Every day I get UFO attack warnings on YouTube. UFOs attacking. This is going on with the drones. Da 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 da. Da. People think it's aliens. People think it's drones. I think it's both. I think it's one side playing against another, and it's it's like two puppets on a person's hands. A person is wearing a blue puppet on this side, and a person is wearing a red puppet on this side, and they're going alien, drone. Yeah, just you know what I mean. That's basically what's going on. It's all of it's a craft. All of it's crafted in a way, except for the things that we can't control. This bird just came close as shit to me. It's weird because every time I'm doing my podcast and I'm outside in nature, not nature, because you see this big ass building behind me, right? But anytime I'm doing my podcast and I'm like out here somewhere, I always get a animal. You know what I mean? That means you got a good spirit. You ain't trying to fuck me up or nothing. You just looking for some Nutella. Go get you some Nutella. Be ready. Be ready with your Nutella. God damn it. I don't know if y'all can hear it or not, but I got a big ass fire truck behind me. It's been there for a while, but They pulling off now. That's what it's about, man. I ain't letting nobody fuck up my peace no more, man. I'm trying not to anyway. You know, it's easy to say, but it's hard to do at times because people will try you. You know what I mean? The environment will try you. You know, anybody who's been watching knows what I've been going through. I ain't even gonna go through all that right here. But, you know, we just gotta keep pushing forward. Not just me, you too. You gotta push forward. I gotta push forward. We all gotta push through it. Whatever we dealing, whatever we dealing with in life, whatever adversities come up in life, we just gotta push through it and keep moving. And shed that fucking dead skin, man. You know what I mean? We got a lot of dead skin that we holding on. The world is steadily moving forward, but we stuck in the past because we holding on to dead skin, man. We holding on to dead weight. Kevin Gates said it. He said, "Man, the monsters is your family. The monsters is the people you have around you." And if he ain't hit it goddamn right on the motherfucking head, I don't know. You know what I mean? What he did. He hit that shit right on the head when he said it. Because the people in your family, the people around you are the ones that's holding you back. The ones that those are the demons. Those are the, they hold the, you know, they can fuck you over in your life. The people you trust, the people you loyal to. And I'm loyal to pretty much everybody because I don't fuck over anybody. You know what I mean? I try not to. When I was a child, I was a trickster. When I was a child, I liked to laugh about shit, pull pranks, do this and do that. You know what I mean? I was raised that way though. Not raised that way, but it's naturally what I would do. You know what I mean? It's like not raised that way. I want to take that back and erase that from the record because I wasn't raised that way, but it's a trait that I picked up because it's fun to be, a little mischievous at times and just, devious and mischievous at times. It's fun to be that way. But I mean, honestly, it's not it's not good. You know what I mean? Because you can't be that way your entire life and be a productive adult. You know what I mean? You can't unless you're going to be out in the streets or, you know, on some sneaky shit. You know what I mean? But I digress. Yeah, man. Just, you know, if you really want to figure out what's going on with these drones out here, right? Because I want to end it on the drones because this is supposed to be about drones and UFOs. If you really want to figure out what's going on with the drones and the UFOs, just simply buy your drone and fly the motherfucker. Because you need FAA regulations or whatever. You got to register each drone that you buy, but you could buy drones on Amazon or whatever. So anybody can own a drone and fly a little drone, right? But the whole thing is it has to be registered somehow in order for it to reach the altitude. It has to be legally owned, right? Legally owned drone. So if you want, you could just get your own drone and fly it and see if the fucking thing is real. See if it's a drone or whether it's an alien. See if it got the little propellers or whether it's a little saucer boat. I don't know what the fuck to tell you. See if Marvin the Martian's up there or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Either way, it's irrelevant. You know what I mean? It's all smoke and mirrors. You could pay attention to it. I'd say pay attention to it and just always have a open mind. Don't take you know, anybody's word for granted because anybody could just tell you anything like on the news. Mainly it's on the news, CNN, this and that. They're going to tell you all types of shit. And normally the shit that they're telling you is the spin. Do your own research, compile your own information. If it matters that much to you, if you even give a fuck. Because a lot of us don't give a fuck because we're too consumed with what's going on in our own lives to give a fuck what's going on in our, environment or in the world's environment. So If you give a fuck, look into it. If you don't, say fuck it. But just know that even if it don't affect you, it affects you. Even if you're not worried about it, even if it's not affecting your life right now at this moment, it's still in your it's still affecting your life because it's happening. It's going on in your environment, it's happening in society, and you're living within society. So what we got to understand is even when things don't affect us personally or right away, farther on down the line, it affects your life somehow. Somehow, some way, all of these things affect you. This is why you kind of gotta stay aware and pay attention to what's going on at all times. Because even if, okay, like if you choose not to vote, right? And I want to do a presidential episode too, talking about who I support with, whether I'm Democrat, Republican, and why. That's another topic. That's another concept for another time. But even if you decided to not vote or whatever, the choice of not voting or voting ultimately affects you. You know what I mean? The choice of them building a bridge in the middle of Broad Street affects you somehow because you take Broad Street, whether you're personally involved, whether it's coming out of your pocket, whether it's your taxes, whether you want them to do it or not, whether you give a fuck or not that it's happening. If they put a bridge in the middle of Broad Street, it's going to affect you. It might not affect people in Jersey until they come to Philly, but it still affects them. So when something changes in your environment, in your atmosphere, in the world, it affects you, whether you give a fuck or not. So that's why you got to pay attention and stay aware to everything that's going on. You know what I mean? It's just signs of the time. We don't know what's going to happen. They talk about World War III. Now they talking about this. Maybe this drone UFO shit is a distraction from them putting pieces in place for World War III to happen. You notice with every new presidency, we always have a new adversity. We always have a new challenge. Something's always new going on, a new spectrum of bullshit that we got to deal with, a new spectrum of something that our president is going to tackle, something that he's going to try to handle. They always got to throw him a problem that he got to deal with. You know what I mean? It got to be something spectacular. The bigger the problem and the better he handle it, the more press he get, the more endorsements, the more money you get, you know what I mean, from special interest groups and things like that. So it's a one hand wash the other type of deal. You know what I mean? And it's been going on forever and it's not going to stop unless they actually push the nuke button. If somebody actually crazy enough to push that button. And I do believe that a lot of the drones and shit are here because like I don't even want to say drones, right? At this point, because I'm past the drone point. This is where I'm talking about the UFO portion. I do believe that they're here because it was times in the past where a hasty decision was made to push the button where they could have killed a lot of people. But they wasn't allowed to push the button because the UFO was flying over top the thing, stopping them. Blew up stopped the nuke from exploding. That's what happened. They stopped the nuke from exploding in the silo, ah, from taking off. So at that point, it's like it shows that there's a higher intelligence that's not allowing you to destroy each other. Whether that's the creator, whether that's another planet that's coming here monitoring everything, whatever that is, it's not allowing you to destroy each other if they're not allowing you to do a nuke. So maybe it's a good thing that they're there. So assholes can't, destroy one another. Maybe that's a good thing. You never know. Yeah. That shit is deep though. I just thought about that off the whim because I've been thinking about doing this episode for 2 fucking days. And it was going to be about something different, but now it's this. But yeah, that's deep though, because those UFOs and or maybe it was drones, but they wasn't telling nobody. They was able to stop a nuclear launch from happening. You know what I mean? From one country destroying another country. So if you take it in that perspective, maybe they're flying around letting motherfuckers know like, hey, if you're thinking about doing this or attacking this, then don't. Or maybe it's there for the exact opposite reason. Maybe they're doing surveillance on certain areas of different places to see exactly where they're gonna hit, soft points and hard points and shit like that. Maybe it is what they say, you know. But you gotta remember that it's all a stage. I think me personally, CIA stands for Craft in America. Crafts in America. Because that's what's going on in America. It's crafts work. It's craft works going on in America. They stage a lot of our they stage our lives a lot of times. A lot of our lives are staged, especially when you don't know that your life is staged. When you don't have the proper guidance and things like that, you're easily manipulated as a child. You know, a lot of our adult lives are fucked up. So this way our children grow up without that proper guidance because they want to keep your lineage fucked up and things like that. It's a very evil and wicked system that we're up against. A'udhu billahi min shaitan rajim. I want to say that. And I also want to say to, disrespectful people out there, you know what I mean? Because I'm a different type of spiritual person. I don't subscribe. I do believe in religion, but I don't subscribe to any religion, right? But I respect all religions, right? And I do believe in every different way of praying, things like that. And you can't hate on a person because they believe differently than you. So if I ever give you the greeting, whether I study multiple religions or not, if I ever give you the greeting, Assalamu alaikum, you should give it back walaikum salam. You shouldn't mumble and stutter and give me a half-ass greeting because you don't believe you should give me a greeting because I don't pray at the same mosque as you. It's the same thing with Christians. They'll sit up there and talk about you behind your back because you don't come to church, because you know what I mean, you don't pay tithes and offering. They don't know what's going on in your personal life. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm only here just to learn about something. You know what I mean? They you know what I mean, try to shame you because you don't become a member of their church. I had a brother one time not get me a job, right, at a water department, at the streets department, right? Because I didn't come to church like that. Mind you, my grandparents been going to this church forever, right? He didn't let me get a job. He wouldn't help me get a job because I wasn't coming to church. I got a life. I got things I'm doing in my life. When you was my age, I bet you wasn't coming to church. But that's how they do. Because if you're not a part of their religion, if you're not in their fold, they don't want to help you out. That's how they look at it. But they don't even know that they're going to be the ones condemned for that. Any Muslim, any Jew, any Christian, any anybody of any religion, shunning people, calling them kafirs or non-believers or this or that, or not helping them out or extending them grace and mercy because they don't believe or pray the same way you pray every day or however you do it or whatever whenever you do it. You're sending yourself to the hellfire because religion brings about division. Religion brings about division. And people don't realize that. You know what I mean? If you out there and you stunning people because you don't see them, listen, you're only condemning yourself. Remember that. Every time you sit up there and you shun somebody else or condemn somebody else because their shortcomings, you're revealing your own shortcomings. And people don't think about that until they get older. Once they get older in life, they start to understand that the way that they criticize people, the way that they ridicule people and things like that, the way that they shun people because they start to understand like, hey, you know what I mean? I'm condemning myself. Or maybe some of them never do. They die in arrogance. They die with their arrogance. You know what I mean? Ignorance is bliss, right? If you die in your ignorance, you die in bliss. You believe you're going to paradise when really you lived a whole life in ignorance. You know what I mean? I'm just tired of living in ignorance. I'm tired of living in ignorance. I'm tired of living in the what if, the not knowing. You know what I mean? You know, for me, I'd rather look at the world and pave out what's for me. Look at the world and go out and get what's mine and acquire what's mine by, doing my business, by doing my podcast, my LLC, my music, my books, things of that nature. So yeah. And with that, I'm concluding this podcast because my battery is damn near dead and it's getting late. So yeah, you want to support the podcast, go support the podcast, give it a like, share, thumbs up. I'm Mr. Pagan. This has been an episode of God Concept. Peace.